the husband's perspective, like, hey, obviously, like, this guy's gay, no hard feelings, it's a sight to be seen. He wants to be completely dismissed from the lawsuit. He wants out on the lawsuit. Happening. It's still happening. It's still going on. Here he is in a more clear picture of him kissing Andrew Garfield for the same reasons.
Ryan Reynolds just couldn't keep quiet any longer after his so-called best friend, Hugh Jackman, decided to drop some brutal truth bombs about their past. And let's just say, it's been an absolute disaster for Reynolds.
Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
But honestly, Jackman isn't losing sleep over it, especially after being tossed aside by Ryan and watching his Marvel career slip through his fingers.
They've like leaked all these text messages.
Now, the whole mess has turned into a glaring spotlight on Ryan's complicated personal life, his inflated ego, and of course, Blake Lively playing the role of his ever-loyal cover. The wildest part? Hugh Jackman was never supposed to be this deep in the chaos surrounding Ryan and Blake's lawsuit. Initially, his involvement seemed minor, almost like a footnote in the case. After all, he was just there for a few promotional skits for it. Ends with us, right?
Hugh Jackman was also in the now infamously cringe It Ends With Us promotional skit that had nothing to do with promoting the movie, which was about domestic violence, where Ryan directed it and he brought in his mom and Blake was in the background. We learned that.
But the only reason he got dragged into this mess was his connection to the power couple's film project. What should have been a quick, routine legal formality spiraled into something much darker.
They've like leaked all these text messages.
Ryan Reynolds, the Hollywood golden boy, seemed to have pulled Jackman into a tangled web far more complicated than anyone imagined. Their bromance had always been a subject of fascination, a playful on-screen dynamic that fans adored.
Ryan Reynolds bromances.
But what no one saw coming was the storm brewing beneath the surface. Reynolds didn't just invite Jackman to be part of a few innocent skits. There was much more at play.
Gay guys are great. I love gay guys. There's also bad ones because they're just normal people. I have zero prob. There's nothing wrong with being gay in any way, but he definitely is.
And as the lawsuit escalates, Jackman's name keeps resurfacing, dragging him further into the controversy. The fallout from this case might prove to be far more damaging for Jackman than anyone initially thought. And now, it's not just about courtroom drama. His future with Marvel is officially hanging in the balance. But here's the real shocker. Jackman didn't just sit back and let this unfold. He took control in the most unexpected way. Behind the scenes, he anonymously fed critical details to none other than Candace Owens. And let's be clear, this wasn't some casual tip-off.
Hugh Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career. It has been speculated for a host of reasons, some fair, some not. Some people just never really bought into him at the peak of his career, having married a woman that was 13 years his senior.
Jackman was orchestrating the leaks, subtly pulling the strings from the shadows. The real question is, what was his end game? Was he trying to protect himself? Or was this a calculated move to take Reynolds down with him?
Oh, he's gay. Oh, yeah, see, straight guys don't say that.
Either way, one thing is certain. Friendships in Hollywood don't always mean loyalty. When careers are on the line, even the closest bonds crumble. Jackman might be at risk of losing everything, but he's making sure Reynolds' secrets don't stay buried in the process.
Kind of making a lot of gay jokes and like trying to normalize all of these gay jokes, but nobody's actually asking him to do that. Not the gay community, or the heterosexual community.
And now, let's talk about Blake Lively's legal strategy, because if you think she's sitting this one out, think again. The battle has turned into a high-stakes game of deception, and Lively's team is playing their cards carefully. They made a bold move by trying to classify certain key documents as attorney's eyes only, AEO.
Just wonder if that's also partially the reason why Blake's team is adamant that they need this AEO determination, right? They want the judge to agree to an attorney's eyes only designation to protect, as they term it, highly confidential information that could destroy the careers of the third-party people that are involved.
Hoping to lock away information that could cause serious damage. A textbook legal tactic, yes, but also a glaring sign of just how desperate the situation has become. However, the judge wasn't having it. They ruled that the AEO designations must be narrowed down, forcing attorneys to justify why specific documents should remain hidden. This ruling threw open the floodgates for even more bombshells to surface, making it clear that there's still plenty of dirt waiting to be exposed.
A la Taylor Swift, I'm a nice girl, and then you find out she's actually a really mean girl. That would be ruinous to her career.
It's no longer just about shielding sensitive information, it's about revealing what's really happening behind closed doors. Now, let's talk about Hugh Jackman's personal life. Because if you haven't been keeping up, his world is unraveling on all fronts. He recently ended his 27-year marriage to Deborah Lee Furness, marking the end of what seemed like an unshakable Hollywood romance. 27 years is no small feat, but as of September 2023, it was officially over. And just like that, the whispers surrounding Jackman's private life grew even louder. But this wasn't just another routine Hollywood split. This was the kind of breakup that the media feasts on, igniting endless speculation about what really happened behind closed doors. While the official reason for the divorce remains private, that hasn't stopped the rumor mill from running at full speed. This time, the public wasn't as focused on the end of Hugh Jackman's marriage as they were on his personal life, particularly the long-standing whispers about his sexuality. Ever since the divorce was announced, rumors have swirled, with some insiders hinting that Jackman may have been concealing his true identity all along. His close bond with Ryan Reynolds, along with his past interactions with certain Hollywood figures, has only fueled the gossip. The speculation has gained so much traction that some are even questioning whether Jackman and Reynolds' relationship has ever been strictly platonic. Jackman, however, has chosen to remain silent, leaving his PR team scrambling to keep the narrative in check. But the stories persist, leading many to believe that someone with a vested interest is deliberately planting them to control Jackman's public image. Candace Owens took things a step further when she specifically called out Jackman's relationship with Sutton Foster, his younger, post-divorce partner, as part of a carefully curated PR strategy. Foster, who entered Jackman's life shortly after his split, conveniently fits the mold of the ideal public partner, one that conveniently counters the growing rumors surrounding his personal life. According to Owens, this relationship could be nothing more than a strategic move.
They instantly started seeding this rumor like, yo, well, maybe he got divorced because he's in this relationship with Sutton Foster. But then he moved to set up a paparazzi shot
Orchestrated by Jackman's team to reinforce his image as a traditionally family-oriented leading man. Of course, PR manipulation is nothing new in Hollywood. Celebrities often have to craft carefully controlled narratives to maintain their brand, even if those stories don't necessarily reflect reality. In Jackman's case, it's clear that his team is working overtime to steer the conversation, but despite their efforts, the speculation just won't die down. The more people dig into his past, the more questions arise. And speaking of messy situations, let's turn our attention back to Ryan Reynolds. Because his name isn't just being dragged into Jackman's controversy. Reynolds is currently facing his own serious legal battle. And this time, it involves It Ends With Us director Justin Baldoni. Baldoni has filed a lawsuit accusing Reynolds of defamation, extortion, and interference with contractual relations. According to the legal documents, the allegations stem from statements Reynolds made about Baldoni during the film's production. Specifically, Baldoni claims that Reynolds called him a predator, a label that forms the core of the defamation case. This isn't just some minor industry squabble. These accusations could deal a major blow to Reynolds' career. In response, Reynolds has defended himself by claiming he truly believed the allegations about Baldoni were true, which is why he made the statements in the first place. But legally, that argument may not hold much weight. The idea that a public figure can justify defamatory claims simply by saying they believe them to be true is a shaky defense at best. Reynolds' legal team is attempting to frame his remarks as protected under the First Amendment. But when free speech crosses into defamation territory, the situation becomes far more complicated. For years, Ryan Reynolds has been the golden boy of Hollywood. Charming, quick-witted, and effortlessly likable. But his carefully curated public persona has also raised a few eyebrows, especially when it comes to the subtle but recurring undertones in some of his comedic skits. Over the years, Reynolds has participated in numerous performances that some believe contain a hidden subtext, suggesting there's more to his public antics than meets the eye. One of the most talked about moments? His infamous skit with Andrew Garfield, a performance that had fans buzzing and only added to the ongoing speculation. In these skits, Reynolds often engages in flirtatious behavior with male actors, including on-screen kisses, which many interpret as intentionally provocative.
It still isn't!
This has sparked an ongoing debate about his sexuality, with some questioning whether these moments are purely comedic or if they hint at something more personal.
And he did it again at the Genie Awards because it's really funny. He kissed
Candace Owens, never one to hold back, has weighed in heavily, arguing that these performances are not just playful antics, but a carefully constructed aspect of Reynolds' public persona.
This is a recurring bit, okay? I just wanted to let you guys know it's a recurring bit, and it's just a bit. He's just acting. There's nothing more to be seen there. He just likes to write these skits and these bits at award shows, and also when he's on these late night talk shows, and also writes that a lot into his character. When he can control the script, he thinks it's funny to imply that he's gay. Take from that what you will.
She suggests that the actor strategically incorporates these homoerotic undertones to maintain his image as a charming, relatable, and progressive Hollywood icon, all while keeping the public guessing about his true identity. In a world where fluidity in sexual orientation is more accepted than ever, Reynolds seems to benefit from this ambiguity. But the real question is, does he do this intentionally, or is there something deeper beneath the surface? The infamous skit with Andrew Garfield certainly raises eyebrows. During a 2017 press event for Deadpool 2, Reynolds and Garfield shared an unexpected kiss on the lips.
Happening. It's still happening. It's still going on.
A moment that drew laughter, but also left some viewers uncomfortable. And let's be clear, this wasn't an isolated incident. Reynolds has a well-documented history of these suggestive interactions with other male actors, which only fuels speculation. So, what's the real story? Is Reynolds subtly hinting at a different side of himself? Or is this all just an elaborate part of his carefully crafted Hollywood narrative? Owens, however, isn't buying the idea that it's all in good fun. She suggests that Reynolds might actually be using these performances to mask his true identity in a way that could ultimately be more damaging than he realizes. By keeping the public fixated on his playful innuendos, he ensures that the conversation never shifts to anything more serious. But why would someone who has built an entire brand on authenticity feel the need to hide? In an era where LGBTQ+ rights are widely embraced, why wouldn't Reynolds, if there were any truth to the rumors, simply own his reality? Owens insists that Reynolds' behavior isn't about staying relevant or playing to the times. She believes it's a deliberate strategy, a calculated move to remain untouchable while subtly teasing the boundaries of sexuality. This adds yet another fascinating layer to his public persona, leaving many to wonder, who's really in on the joke? His fans? Or is Reynolds playing a long game with himself? But the suggestive nature of Reynolds' public skits isn't the only controversy circling his name. Behind the scenes, he's been accused of using manipulative and coercive tactics to maintain control in Hollywood. According to Owens, Reynolds has engaged in extortion to influence film productions and manipulate scripts to serve his own interests. His involvement in It Ends With Us is particularly damning, as the film has already been mired in legal battles and behind-the-scenes drama. Owens claims Reynolds' demands on set went far beyond what is typical for an actor. Allegedly, he threatened to walk away from the project unless his personal script changes were implemented, including a scene he had written himself. While Hollywood is no stranger to power struggles, when an actor repeatedly exerts this level of control, it begins to paint a different picture, one that challenges his easygoing, lovable public image. In this context, Reynolds' behavior has started to take on the characteristics of a classic Hollywood power move. While he's long been celebrated for his quick wit and effortless charm, a different side of him is emerging, one that industry insiders claim has been carefully hidden from the public. His treatment of It Ends With Us director Justin Baldoni has only amplified these concerns, with Baldoni openly voicing his frustration over Reynolds' behavior. And this isn't just an isolated incident. As Owens points out, Reynolds' actions appear to be part of a much larger strategy, one that ensures he maintains control in Hollywood's ruthless landscape. The entertainment industry thrives on power plays, but Reynolds' public persona has always protected him from scrutiny. That is, until now. A leaked TikTok thread of private text messages between Reynolds and various Hollywood figures has thrown his carefully curated image into question, making people wonder just how much of Ryan Reynolds' charm is real and how much is pure strategy. A TikTok user has dissected the leaked texts, claiming that Reynolds' choice of words reveals something far deeper than just casual Hollywood banter. It hints at an internal conflict, particularly regarding his sexuality. According to this analysis, the phrasing and tone in these messages suggest a man struggling with his own identity. While the text may seem harmless at first glance, a closer look reveals subtle patterns, words, and phrases that point to someone desperately trying to maintain a facade. The way Reynolds expresses himself in private conversations appears to reinforce a closeted persona. In these messages, his self-deprecating humor and carefully worded statements have led some to believe he may be masking his true self. While it's possible that his comments are just playful banter, it's hard to ignore that they're coming from someone who has been at the center of speculation for years. Suddenly, the long-standing rumors don't seem so far-fetched. When analyzed, these messages add fuel to the idea that Reynolds may be hiding something significant. His overly charming demeanor and exaggerated nonchalance in these exchanges feel almost too polished, too rehearsed, suggesting a disconnect between his public persona and his private reality. And of course, Candace Owens wasted no time diving into the leaked messages. Known for calling out Hollywood's manufactured identities, she focused on the emotional undertones of Reynolds' words, arguing that they provide further proof that he has carefully curated the version of himself that the public sees. Owens insists these texts are yet another piece of evidence, exposing how Reynolds manipulates the media into believing a narrative that may not reflect his actual struggles. The leaks also hint at a man privately wrestling with his identity, something his flawless public image has never allowed for. In front of cameras, Reynolds is the effortlessly charming husband and father, the picture-perfect Hollywood man. But behind the scenes, these messages suggest a different reality, one where Reynolds is grappling with self-doubt, fear, and the pressure of maintaining an image that may not align with who he really is. And while he's certainly not the first celebrity to have personal texts leaked, the timing of this scandal couldn't be worse. With Reynolds already under a microscope due to his messy legal battle, the added controversy has only intensified the scrutiny. As for Blake Lively, insiders claim the lawsuit has put immense strain on their marriage. Some sources even suggest the couple is currently living apart, their relationship unraveling under the weight of public backlash and legal troubles. Reports about Lively's emotional state are equally concerning. Her legal team has described her as anxious, distressed, and overwhelmed by the chaos surrounding the case. The situation is taking a toll not only on her, but also on their children, who are reportedly struggling with the fallout from the relentless media attention. With every new revelation, the pressure mounts, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for Reynolds and Lively to maintain their once untouchable public image. Reynolds, in particular, is facing fierce criticism. While he has attempted to cast himself as a victim in this scandal, many believe he's withholding key details about his true role in the situation. His attempt to dismiss the defamation charges has only made things worse. The legal motion, which argues that the accusations are baseless unless it can be proven that Reynolds didn't believe his own statements about Baldoni, has been slammed as contradictory and weak. Critics argue that this defense is flimsy at best, exposing cracks in Reynolds' carefully maintained reputation. As the legal drama unfolds, Reynolds and Lively's once golden image is quickly deteriorating. But among all the chaos, one lingering question remains: who leaked these texts? And more importantly, was Hugh Jackman behind it all? After all, only two people had access to those messages: Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe now, because this legal disaster is only getting messier and you don't want to miss a single exposed lie.